intuition, whereas Navi, it's not that they don't have strategy, they definitely do. But it's more similar to what we saw from NIP. They get their pieces of the puzzle into positions where they can be dangerous, or they play late round, where they seem to be, at least in today, coming out on top of a lot of those scenarios. It is very precious situations when you let the clock tick down to, 30 or sub 30 seconds and start executing. It gets dangerous anyway. The coin toss, and that means just to get this one underway here.
Renegades start CT. That will be important, no doubt about it.
Alrighty, well, Flamey, smoking a flash, he's dropped the P250 to Simple. They've been doing a lot of that. You're going to hear me saying that throughout all these matches because most teams are buying the P250 on the T side. Zeus, Molotov, flash. Simple is going to be going through the palace position, so he can take long-range duels and still stay within a lot of cover there. JKS under the balcony, ready to receive. This is going to be quite quick on the A side.
Smoke that bounced way off the mark. Doesn't cover the top of connector at all. So CT's got a full vision looking back in. That's not even a shutdown of patience. Zeus gets the first kill finally for Navi. JKS though can swing back around. He's forced back inside of hiding. And Simple hasn't gotten anything going from Palace yet either. Built the bomb. They could retreat on this. It's 4 versus 2 directly in the ace side. Make it 1. Not the best pistol, I have to say, from Navi. All right, dude. What are you doing?
Well,
I thought Anders ran the simulation. Simple does this time. Gratisfaction down the window. Oh my God.
It's the reverse order. Simple got the first one last time. Electronic got the follow-up, but it doesn't even matter which order the frags come in. Zeus, the name of a god, dropping deagles to his disciples.
Ooh, I like that.
Allows him to do his bidding.
Well, Az has at least pulled one back. They'll have to be careful because bomb is dropped as JKS gets a kill, but again the deagles, and again Electronic finding kills in return. Az just needs to babysit bomb at this point in time. I was going to say, at the end of that round when they were shooting the dead body, that was Simple's body. If I'm Simple, I'm going to smile and be like, bring it. You want to try and tick me off? I'm ready. Showed with the deagle, but this time he does go down. Az again trying to fire from range. Electronic has to switch guns, has to switch to the reload. He's got nothing left to fight with because he's fought so valiantly already, and it's down to just Edward in a 1-on-2. 32 seconds, P250. Low enough HP on Azza, but the AUG for JKS might be enough.
Yeah, with the time trickling on down in its position, unless he finds these frags while Renegades are looking the wrong way, this round should be done. He might have a chance. There is a window here. There's one.
Oh, he almost didn't, but that's exactly the problem. So even though Azza was low enough, AUG range, watching the bomb, no utility to really take that position away from him. Would have been interesting to see if he had gone CT and got the AUG in his hands. Then we might have had a case.
So now just have a look right now, because Navi are going to be able to buy in, but you can see the money situation for Zeus. He only has 2,500 left. So everybody else on Navi will be able to buy into AKs because he dropped in the deagles to make that round really competitive. So this is just another take on Navi continuing to apply pressure on the economy. So Renegades, with only 1 surviving, have to reinvest on 4 players. Navi were going to invest again anyway, and the only omission is Zeus on the UMP, who plays himself in a more supportive role anyway. He's gone underpass, so the range of that isn't necessarily needed at this point. He's quite quick about this. So it is Liaz anchoring down towards B. We've got Electronic, who loves to put pressure on this position by himself individually. Simple on the other extremity of the map of the Palace, where he can do the same at any given point. And this flushes out the utility from Liaz very quickly, so if they ever want to go back and apply pressure here, they'll have an easier access. And what that also does is it forces Azad, the catwalk player, to help to stay closer because Liaz doesn't have any utility to defend with. Right now, we have JKS anchoring in towards the site. Jacob playing in transition between jungle and connector, and Gratisfaction over towards window. Fact-finding mission so far of Navi's default. It's not enough to take a bunch of utility. Right now, they're working into connector, Electronic and Zeus. Simple can come out of Palace. Flamey can come up A-ramp with Edward now in tow, who's grouped on in. They have 1 smoke, probably over towards that CT spawn position or jungle, and a flash, but there we go. Jacob gets the better of Zeus. He has to find Electronic as well. Pressure is about to be applied.
Jacob peeks, realizes the AK is firing him because he's going to be behind again if he's not careful. That should yield a kill in his favor. It does. And JKS on the site is going to be a problem for them. He's been very solid this event, and a great position for him to play, more so if his teammates continue to be so successful in winning the duels on the extremities. Flamey is desperate to walk in. Afraid nowhere to go but toward JKS, and he's up to it. 3-0. Aside from a few deagle kills and a bit of banter, there's not been much to cheer about for this very Navi-sided crowd.
Yeah, and just to know, on a key gun round right there, Jacob and JKS, the 2 highest rated players for Renegades thus far in the tournament, both finding a significant amount of impact. So that's something to look forward to, because there was a tweet that I read out yesterday talking about JKS with sub-1 ratings and the team very rarely converting games if he's not performing. So a lot of pressure on his shoulders now, but a veteran of the squad, he should be able to step up to the task when needed. Crowd will find the opening kill into Electronic, and this was a light upgrade right now from Navi. They still have the scout.
Simple with the headshot.
Tagged him as well.
Jake him, though. You're right, tagged him, but unfortunately, we're going to go down. Bomb is left inside of the B apartments. He can't go back.
If Zeus
He's got an
wins
AK. You think so?
Mate, I know Vince said he'd eat a boot, but bloody hell, this would be almost impossible.
I'm still waiting for him to eat a damn boot.
I think he did a bunch of other forfeits, and I was going to say if Zeus wins this, it was more than a miracle at this point.
Well, the problem is now, even though they're low, they know where he is, and they can start to surround him. Nade even to put him on 10. He's now lower than they are in return, and he's Molotov'd off. Nowhere to go. They're all three, in fact, in that same position now. If he knew that, he would get the heck out of there, maybe just try and save the AK, try and book it. And obviously, he expects that someone's trying to pinch him in, so he's not done that as of yet.
He might just want to find kills, isolate a 1v1 duel, and continue to keep the economy low, but they're not offering himself up.
Spammable door. Do you know that, by the way? You should know that.
So underpass?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's super, super rare I even see people attempt it, let alone do damage.
Oh, he's collected a Molotov.
That's
Foraging.
Enough. That's enough. Let's go.
But he just wants kills. You can see that, you know, he's not in a rush just to run in and die. He wants to see if anybody is going to rear their ugly head for him to take down, because it is very important at this stage to take away guns from Renegades. He will die before the time. He's not silly enough to not give himself the loss bonus, but just seeing what he can do. Eventually, Grat will find him, and 3 players from Renegades survive, which is very important for their side of things, because the economy isn't completely stabilized right now. Even though they do have 4 in a row, there have been some nail-biters around. JKS having to win that one-on-one situation against Edward. They had 4 survive when they had the Orgs up, but still that was a heavy investment. Lost 2 guns there. They brought back in. There will be a pause for a tactical purpose here for Navi to talk through their next approach. So there is 2 sides to this coin of Navi playing warmed up. Because the first game, yeah, sure, they looked really hot. But if this stalls out, if this becomes long and Renegades win this,
yeah, that's right. The
they run out of
attrition
steam.
Yeah. Whoa!
What did that say?
He just ripped up a Renegades poster.
Really? Oh.
That's the reverse banter. Shoot Simple's body, I'll rip up your logo.
Well, I had a Renegades fan just come to me and say that he apologizes for what the crowd yesterday with the jeering and the shouting of other positions, and that there's still Renegades fans here in the house. So,
well, there you go.
Maybe they're doing it for show.
Maybe they're deciding to learn how crowds banter.
Yeah.
Yesterday they took on their own approach. Today they're taking on the Brazilian approach. Maybe tomorrow they'll take on the Polish approach. Maybe the UK approach.
So they need to get a few more beers in
there. I was going to say, I don't know if there's enough alcohol. That's also like the Sydney approach.
So Hazard took a lot of damage there to that connector mold. Look at Electronic. So this applies so much pressure. The duel between him and Liaz is going to be one to watch for the entirety of this game, with him playing through this position. The rest of the teammates for Navi are now getting on over to his position, and they want to set up and execute on towards this B site. But you can see how much utility Liaz has dropped. He's already used everything besides a flash. So when the execute comes in, no Molotov slow them, no smoke either.
Jacob doubling up. Electronic and Zeus both down. He can push the smoke, but he'll sit inside of it. Why not, little Houdini? Simple has to pull it all back. No kills yet. No rounds yet. There's one. A kill, not a round, but it might lead to one because Simple's got the second on Liaz, using Edward as a bit of a bait, and it puts him down to 2 HP, but Simple's now boosted on the box.
Seen him.
This shows the headshot off, and Simple has seen him. He's tagged, though. That puts him down to 8. That's actually a huge situation because a nade alone will get him, and they've got the flank. If he didn't take as much damage, he's still in this round, and you have a very different situation. I think the flank would have won it no matter what from Azza. But man, oh man, Simple tried. 3 kills for him, 5-0 Renegades.
I just watched that, and I just see every single piece of Renegades falling apart there, and Simple just standing up once more. Every time it seems possible. I'm in disbelief because it shouldn't be, but he seems to make these rounds competitive.
I'll say it. This is more than Kenny S pre-op nerf. This is more than Orloff in the peak of his powers. This is more than Nico and Cold. Device has a certain sense of team play that I think is still very high, but Simple's so far above everybody else right now. I think he's the best of CSGO of all time. This is the highest peak we've ever seen.
Would you say he's the Astralis of individuals?
Come on, man.
All right, well.
I'll say he's the Wayne Gretzky. In fact, I may even go as far as to say he's the Fernando Alonso. He might not be that good, but he's close.
Oh, that's some praise right there from Mr. Matthew Trivett, let's spell that. M-A.
All right, Trace.
So, just to look at what facilitated Renegades having a lot of bodies on that B bomb site in the previous round was they did the mid control with the deep smoke and Molotov early, right? They threw the one from spawn, they had the Molotov in front, and they had control. So that meant that they knew that it wasn't going to necessarily be a play through middle. It was going to be either bomb site off the bat, and once again, it's going to be a site hit. This time, Navi going into A.
Jacob successful back through the box. Simple had that perfectly lined up. JKS does step out though, and again, they have to confront him on the site. Another 3 kills for him. How are they going to take A if they let him play Shadow and Triple so effectively? A 4th, Simple gone. JKS is an absolute master on the A site.
Feeling more in their comfort zone now are Renegades. They've bounced back.
I'm thinking you've got to win mid and get a player in window. I think that's the only way you're going to get JKS out of position.
Right now, JKS has 11 kills to his name. He's stepping up big time. Jacob, the sidekick throughout this tournament.
It's not just 11 kills, it's 11-0.
Yeah, he's immortal right now. Flamey yet to find a kill on the other side of things, 0-0 and 6. Right, so it will be the AKs back on out. Trying to play towards middle. Electronic Zeus through the B halls. This is more of the same. This time it will be Flamey over towards Palace, and Simple's actually going to go, I suppose, towards middle with Edward here. They might do a late mid take. It looks like they want to play 2 through the underpass, 2 through top mid. Gratisfaction with the AWP. He might, yeah, he spotted it, so he knows that Edward's across towards that mid box, which means it's difficult for him to go for a re-peek. That smoke just played. It allows Jacob to use it as a one-way to cover off towards lower, so he can re-pick just like that, and Simple gets taken out of the equation with a flash assist from Azza. Gratisfaction finds a second, and now they're doing a fantastic job of poking and prodding and making life really difficult for Navi.
Call a timeout. This isn't going well. They get 1 kill back with a bit of luck because Gratisfaction misses the shot. It's pretty much on a platter for Electronic at that point. Molotov down in the window. Azza closes Electronic down. Jacob's got Edward. Flamey's the last alive. 1 on 3 gone already from Azza. Great play of Mirage from Renegades. Certainly showing that they are more versed on the map.
Jump.
Did it matter?
Well, they need the AWP.
Oh, that's right. The AWP was in there. You're right.
Grat can still buy one, or Azza can drop one. I think Azza will probably drop one over because Grat doesn't have enough to buy head. Yeah, there you go. So being a good...
Still costs them $47.50.
Yeah, it's something
Or I guess we should say it costs them like $2 grand, right? Because they're going to buy a rifle instead of the AWP.
So they've got all the goodies they need, and it will be the pause. This is the second pause thus far for Navi in this first half.
And it has to be something...
You think more direct, quicker?
Thank you. I was going to say something simple. It could be Olaf style simple, just run out and kill everyone. But it needs to be something quicker, but also to take a part of the map that they can exploit.
Yeah.
And that's why I said maybe you try and get them in window, maybe you try and get behind the CTs, try and get JKS moving. If you can get a wrap through CT, I mean, they're just not getting anywhere. They're getting stonewalled everywhere they go.
Yeah, we talked about how strong Renegade CT side can be. Them on our screen. Oh, you can see it too. That's Gomez sitting in the front row there.
The one leaning forward with his knees on his lap.
Intently watching. We'll get underway again as Flamey and Electronic will both have AKs in hand. Simple CZ 75, Deagle for Zeus, Edward with CZ as well. And there's going to be another direct approach towards A through Palace this time. Gratisfaction finds the first. JKS in the same position. So much damage is done early. JKS can go for the mop again here from this position. Doesn't get it done. He got swarmed on this time.
Simple. Pistol from range. Does actually manage to collect on Jacob, but not, unfortunately, able to deal enough damage with that gun to do anything more about it. Now, they've saved this particular round with the max loss bonus now at 8, so they're going to have that for a while, and they do it for a very obvious reason. 54-50 for Simple.
Yeah, so the bank is built up now for them, right? Now, you can see the scores right here on the screen. One for
Do you know what I've just realized?
Yeah. No plants.
8-0 and not a single bomb plant.
With the default that Navi run, it is very dependent on finding those kills towards middle and then doing exactly like you're saying, being able to play the CTs in transition. But the bomb site lockdowns have been there. Renegades have had a good flow and pace to the game right here. And Gratisfaction up and over. He's going to jump. He'll be, I was going to say, able to exploit the gap in the smoke, but there won't be one this time round. Edward will get across the mid box, and Gratisfaction, Jacob, and Azrael leaning towards that part of the map.
Oh, there you go. That's the one time they've caught JKS out.
Yeah.
Gets caught in between the 2 boxes.
Walk onto the side here. And they will rally on through, but right now they're just posturing and waiting for the cavalry to arrive. Another big gap in the smoke.
Yeah, Jacob's going to love this. They missed it in the pistol. They missed it by a mile this time. Shots out. Flash will do. Try and get them off the angle, but Az is taking over where JKS left off. Couldn't spray it through. Zeus able to get the kill back in return. Man advantage, therefore, stays with Navi. Minutes on the clock. And Zeus, now that they have the A site, they start to use it, but he's traded back. Lias comes in for CT. That tells them where one is. Where's the other? Flank being watched by Edward. Simple's the one with the bomb. He's got the op. Lias gets to triple. If Simple misses another shot and there's no one else to counter peek, he's going to have a problem. That's the second time he's hit someone through that box. Didn't do a ton of damage, though. Did it down to 51.
Lias is in trouble.
He knows that. They're trying to find connector. Edwards got Lias down. That's exactly what they wanted. That's also through the box. Gratisfaction stays alive for a while, but Simple shuts it down. He'll grab the op and resume duties at 8-1.
That no-scope was very close to landing just there. You saw it hit the edge of the stair. But Lias in that position with no grenades, no way really out of that. He had to hope that they made a mistake, but they just kept his position locked. Took him out of the round. Not sure what that is.
Me neither. I would like to know.
It's a whole cultural thing that we're missing out on here. I feel like...
That's it. We've got to download some like Rosetta Stone.
This round here is really important. Look at the money left for Renegades, right? They've just lost, so they've gone down to the $1,400 loss bonus. They don't have enough money in the bank to buy again in the next round. They're only going to get $1,900. So for Renegades right now, if they lose this one, this is the new money reset. The new money hard reset. We'll still work on the terminology. We're still workshopping it.
New reset kind of works. I said positive reset.
Yeah, that's true.
But that makes it sound like a good thing.
Yeah.
I was meaning the team that's in the lead. But what it does mean is that Renegades could easily give back a chance for Navi to get into the game.
And we've got a three-man lean over towards the A side with Azza playing in limbo. Gratisfaction has the AWP over towards B. It is a slow approach through middle right now for Navi as they want to take control. They have two players through underpass. There's going to be a lot of pressure applied to this connector position.
Lias is the one that's there. Az is still in the window as well. They want to get in. He's going to play the outside balcony. That's a problem. He's firing in. He got it. Az was waiting for the smoke to dissolve, thinking he could stay there silently. Didn't quite get the location back. I thought he might counter spray. He tried to be patient instead and act like he wasn't there at all, but it did lead to his death. In the end, Lias now has to hold topside of connector. Zeus gets him. Now they've got problems because JKS, he hasn't had to worry about his backside. He hasn't had to hold off reverse from the site, but the time that he does, he's got Jacob there. Now the shots are landing for Navi, and you are right. This could be the positive reset, the winner's reset. All of that sounds too bright and cheery. Positive reset, that's what I'm going to call it. So the winning side is about to get reset. JKS, he still finds it. He still finds ways to win. He still finds ways to control the A site. How does he turn that around? 3 kills late, and it's because Jacob was there. They never found him. They never lost him.
Just to note, the Gratisfaction was going through kitchen, but he's circled all the way back around. There's no defuse kit in play. They have to be quick here. Grat coming through connector. That was a must-make kill.
He got a dink, though. Edwards down to 4. That'll still help JKS. Flamey's going to get smoked off. He'll have to peek. JKS elects not to pick up the AWP and go for the one-hit wonder onto the man above him. He's going to swing wide, but Flamey's already on top of it.
Almost made that interesting there. If Gratisfaction had made the kill, then that round becomes more than possible. They could isolate Flamey's position. That smoke grenade from JKS might have trickled somewhere different in that situation. But right now, Renegades, money in the bin. Squelching around at the bottom of the bag. There's nothing worse than bin juice on a Monday morning as you run out, as you box your shorts as the garbage truck is driving off. And Renegades are feeling that right now. P250 for Lias. Flashbang for JKS to try and make some magic happen. He's going to flash towards middle here, and they're going to try and go for a pounce 3 towards connector. And Azza might actually come late through short here. So when the feeling's right, the flash will come over, and they're going to see if they can find some kills. But it has a timer on it, because if they allow the underpass player to get too close, oh, they're walking out. They don't want to do it with a flash. They're just going to walk on up. The flash might come over the top as they start to duel. This could be interesting.
Fast Eddie. Got to be going to have to be exactly that behind the box, and he is. He gets 2. Elect gets 1. So JKS, the only 2 left alive, and JKS gets punished by a nade. He looks like an annoyed, older cousin right now.
Who, Justin?
Yeah, his facial expression. He's like, man, stop picking on me, little dude.
He smiled at me at breakfast today.
Oh.
Doesn't usually happen.
Did you blush?
No. We both, he walked past the counter and someone working said something that sounded like Justin. So we both laughed at the fact that he turned thinking that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Simple moments.
Yeah, it's the little things in life, right? This round should be over and done with, and I think what we have to do is we have to look at what Renegades have done in the previous to make things work so swimmingly for themselves. They might go back to that fast or that heavy mid approach, right, with the top mid smoke, the Molotov to land to deny. But Navi could then just go for an execute straight off the bat. So this one here is the real mental games for Renegades because they've come into a round now. They were sitting pretty for a very long time, right? They had everything they needed. They had the AWPs. They had all the goodies, all the go gear. They were able to re-peak, find some kills, have some confidence. Right now, the confidence of the Molotovs, the nades, the AWPs, the defuse kits, all of that is gone. They need to win a scrappy round. And they've definitely won quite a few of those throughout StarSeries Season 7 Swiss stages. And we're going to get underway here. The top mid smoke actually hasn't come into play. Oh, yes, it has. It just trickled late, and it's a bad one. It's a missed throw.
The Molotov on the backside of it, though, is interesting because even though it missed, it still covers off anyone pushing through, and it still allows you to get to the top of mid without anyone peeking the corner, so it gives you some conceal. I'm
not sure if they're doing it intentionally to try and lure players into it later, or if it is actually a mistake, because the way that it's meant to be done, that is meant to be 95% covered off. There's still going to be a slight gap.
Yeah, and it's just the foresight of throwing the Molotov that makes me think that maybe it's like, oh, that's just how we throw it faster. I'd have to look at the lineup.
Yeah, that could be the case too. They could throw it even differently as well as they're jumping out a window.
Good spray down from Lias, goes out late. It's going to give them the opener. Yeah, because the set way to throw it, there's two. There's one from over by CT spawn, which usually an A player throws it and who's not going.
Yeah.
The other two just rush. The other way is to throw it from the backside of the vents, which actually is really hard because you rely on like a bounce on an angle. That there's one step that's kind of on an angle itself, and it bounces like 3 times. It's really awkward.
Yeah, if you miss it as well and you land it on the garbage bags that are actually towards top mid, you can completely fluff it and then it's worth nothing. But right now, you need to look at Renegades who have gone for a lean over towards the B bomb side. They've absconded a lot of the mid control that they had. It's 30 seconds left on the clock, and it will be an A play. Zeus is going to come late through connector, but the real action is going to be simple coming out of Palace and how well JKS can do dueling. Now, we've seen him in the majority of occasions come out in a successful position, but this time round, it means a lot more.
Grat swinging out again, unaware that Zeus was so deep. Got taken down by him. JKS, though, is again back behind that box. Find a Molotov for that position because JKS owns it. Oh. Simple just owns them all. Leah's down. He's got one before that, and bomb planted. Jacob in a 1-on-2. Simple staying close on triple. Peeks it, got it. No mistake about it. Hat trick for him, and 4 now for Navi.
Easy as you like there. Navi are really punishing Renegades here, who, with 4 in a row, don't have the max loss. If this goes from 8-0 to 8-7...
That kind of speaks about the new system.
Well, look, it's the doomsday scenario, right? Because it's the merging of the old and the new. It's the fact that the 1400 still exists in the game. It's the fact that the CTs, the Molotov, is more expensive. It's the fact that the defuse kit is in play for 400. You've got to buy a rifle that costs more regardless of whether you get the AUG or the M4. Utility is much more important to stop the Ts. They can do more creative things. So there's so many reasons as to why the 1400 is still going to mean that double ecos are in play.
I like that smoke on the ledge. They try and spray into it. They know where it was thrown from. Zeus still down below. Flames in front of him. He'll just kind of flirt with the idea of someone inside a window. Stack for the pistols, which is over toward A. They're taking their time. Don't mind it at all. Still a minute to play, and they'll just clear out the angles and make sure they're safe. But based on the positioning and the stack on the A side, I would suggest we've got our conclusion on this one already.
Navi are doing a really good job of being able to at least juke Renegades. Like, they never seem to be in the right place at the right time to at least have these rounds being competitive. If you have the pistols and they just go to the other side, well, then you kind of feel hopeless. And going for exits in this situation when you know you're going to buy in the following, and Navi have built a established bank on simple, flamey Edward, I can make a case for as well. If he needed alone, I wouldn't be too opposed.
Andalia's all 5 alive again for Navi. Bit of heckling going on in the downtime in this round. We're not all that different. We're all from different places and different cultures, but we're all the same at the bottom of it, aren't we?
Alrighty. This is where...
We all have Counter-Strike is the bottom line.
Yeah, that's where I figured you were going with it.
I was trying to be like a broader sense of humanity, but I'll just bring it back to something we all know and relate to.
I was going to talk about tribalism and the fact that we all need to be feeling a part of something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. This is it. I suppose this is the do or die for Renegades here. With only 2 rounds left, they're only going to get the max loss bonus in the following if they lose this one, which isn't enough for the CTs to be able to buy. And the fact that they bankrupt themselves in this one to go all in means so much pressure on them to get it done. And Grad will find an opening, has a chance at a second, and can Houdini his way through that smoke that's been dropped over towards Connector. So he's out of dodge, and he has found the opening pick and only taken a little bit of damage right.
Wow, Simple knew exactly what he was up to. He was waiting for that even Tom go back up. Smoke, JKS. This time in a whole different position. Excuse me, that was Jacob we switched to, so he is still back towards CT. He's already rotating as well.
It's important that Jacob's pushing right now because he gets a lot of information on how Renegades can play in this mid-round. They boosted Azza up on the on the short box right here that we can see. He can see Connector and make sure that nobody can push. They can still boost Window, so JKS needs to be wary of that.
Cool, man. Cool. 3 HP. You're in spawn. You're getting flanked. You switch to a USB and you just hit a headshot. No problem. Okay. Yeah, I'm down.
I don't know what to say anymore.
And now he has the op toward Horseshoe again. He can just hold top side of middle.
I'm lost for words.
Zeus has to step up again, though, this round, and Azza is above him. I think he's going to go down because he's looking toward Connector. Back showing Azza makes no mistake on the shot. Simple needs an ace on 3 HP.
Okay, yeah, so this is possible.
I don't rule it out.
Yeah, this one's possible right now.
He's got 1 HP for the first 2 and then just kills the 3rd. That's fine.
Okay, so JKS being in the Palace position, if Simple decides to go to A, he's not going to be able to clear him out. He has to tap the bomb, and then JKS will just pick. Liao's on the site, 20 seconds left. Maybe Simple will just go for a save call. It's not necessary. It doesn't really matter at all.
Don't make any noise.
Oh, he's trying to use the crowd right now. So
he's trying to flirt, figure out where it is, and he'll get Azza, who dropped down to see if he was there. So HP not a factor.
Azza didn't need to do that.
Nope.
They didn't need to get that kill because Navi were always going to be buying in this round, right? So that feels like a bit of a waste of life right there from the in-game leader of Renegades, who's maybe just wanted to get a kill on the board, but it doesn't add anything to the team actually now. It detracts because Gratisfaction has a scout. They've managed to get 4 rifles up, 2 AUGs, 2 M4s. Azza has no utility. He was the player that just died. They do have 4 defuse kits across the board, and now it seems like Navi want to go for a direct A approach with a lot of nades, faking them out, trying to bait out whatever utility they have, forcing them to be very smoke molly defense heavy. Jacob still has a smoke and a HE. JKS over towards the ticket booth position, just has to hold. They threw the mid nades as well. That's just to keep Gratisfaction on his toes. Leon's over towards the van, over towards Cat, and now they can reinitiate on this A bomb site.
Oh, the nades.
They just really threw flashes, you see, and then they've gone back and rebought the flashes. So Navi went through a heap of flashes at A to bait out the nades from Renegades, and then they've gone back to spawn and rebought into the flashes because we can see that they still have full utility at this point.
Yeah, that is interesting. JKS. They threw the ones they carried over because remember you can only buy 4 around them now. It doesn't matter if they threw them or not. They haven't done anything to distill this A defense, which has come back with vengeance since the guns have been drawn back out.
The duo, though.
That was pretty straightforward. You're right. Electronic is also in this. Trying to find JKS. They know he plays the backside of the box. If they had a Molotov, they could really force JKS to be uncomfortable, but 2 of them there. This time, nice little lob.
Oh my God.
Great nade, perfectly positioned in the gap. And Simple knows that they want to peek out from top stairs, but they peek all at once, and there's nowhere to hide. 10-5, Renegades, great half. And you said it, if this goes long, how much steam does Navi really have left?
And especially if they lose some low-buy rounds to Renegades, if they lose those tilt rounds, we know that Navi are a team who definitely, they get vocal at one another, but in what could potentially be 6 maps for them in one day, things might become a little bit problematic. And we have kind of returned to normality in a way, Matt. We have Simple leading the way on 17 frags. The next closest on his team was Edward with 8. So quite the disparity there. But it was a 5-round spree towards the tail end of that second half. Renegades did good to stabilize because it was looking like it could have been an 8-7. A 10-5, even though they did lose that patch of rounds, is still a good thing. And if they can get pistol, we know how good they are at converting. We know how good Navi at breaking it. So that round is almost as exciting as the pistol round, as a gun round at this point. So this matchup, quite tantalizing. We should be getting back underway momentarily as we get some crowd reactions of a couple of players. Oh, they're cheering for him drinking.
No one cheers when I drink anymore.
I wonder if I could just get a bunch of people to follow me around so they could cheer for every little thing I do.
You could probably pay them to do that. I'm thinking, yeah, you definitely could.
How much do you think I got to pay him per person?
Depends on the currency. Depends on the hours. Depends on how loud, probably in decibels. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you there, Chad. Let me reach
Look,
out.
I'll make some phone calls. We'll see what happens.
I was going to say, I'll reach out to my people and get back to you.
5 sets of Kevlar and Navi right now. Grenades are plenty for Renegades. Gratisfaction and Liaz. They're going to be throwing the wall smoke. Let me tell you how this pistol round's probably going to play out here. JKS and Jake are probably going to put a bit of pressure on B. They're going to go back. The wall smoke's going to be, oh, it's just a complete fake. It isn't what I thought it was going to be at all. I thought they were going to come late underpass, but this is a double fake. They've shown the bomb on A to pull the full rotation. And now they're going to lurk out onto B with JKS and Jacob. Liaz is going all the way back over towards B2. It's a free bomb site right now.
Yep. Renegades might get back-to-back pistols in this game. Both times massively. Just massive issues, I should say, for Navi. Simple's got it back. JKS down. Bomb not yet planted. Maybe I've spoken too soon. They do lose one more. Zeus drops to Jacob, but Electronic finds him. Remember the first pistol, it was a catastrophe. Massive miss smoke, and everyone just got shut down going into toward A. They almost gifted this one to Renegades, but they didn't act on it. They didn't act quick enough, and they know it wasn't toward A. They rotated back over. JKS only got one, and now look at it fall apart. Bomb down. Simple with the kill. As it falls next, and Navi recover to find the 6th.
Well, the pistol round worked perfectly. The problem was Renegades worked not too slowly because you want to take the bomb to shot at the A ramp, but JKS fluffing initially meant that it was a little bit harder for them to stabilize in that position. And then from there, just some nice, crisp, clean shots as Navi post the second round on the board. Second round? The pistol round. The second pistol round. Renegades just going to flash and try and do the waterfall out of Palace here. Lying in wait over towards spawn will be Electronic, and coming in from the connector and stairs position will be Simple and Edward. And they should just pluck them out of the air. Simple with 2.
Jumping as well from Eddie.
Okay, hold up. It's expensive.
I don't know why I've called him Eddie this week, but I just have.
Edward Scissorhands.
Ooh, okay. If he gets a knife, that would be a great reference. I want to inform everyone that Pimp has actually stopped talking, and he's become now the janitor.
Yeah, and he's brought us coffee, and he's cleaned up the desk.
He's giving me a death stare right now. He's like, man, I'm trying to do something nice for you guys, and
but
you're
it was,
wrecking me.
we're paying him
it is
live.
Very nice.
Well, it's live appreciation to the world.
It is. What a bro. Brings us the coffee, cleans our desk. Like, great. I'm down.
If you get my Go TV to work, then you'd be the real magician right now. But Renegade's going to buy on in here. They were able to do a little bit of damage with Jacob's P250. Well, not going to be able to hold on to mid-control Navi at all, and Renegade's going to push through that Molotov. This is a reaction that they actually used against Astralis at the Majors, so they've got that one in their back pocket. Renegades get control. Azza is the man to find it, but he's taking a lot of damage to the Molotov, and now Zeus, they've heard it.
Absolutely. They heard that nade hit him, and they know that they can strike. He actually gets one still on the MP9, though, and that gives a little bit of time for the rotation, but more importantly, Simple can reverse backwards. No one on Catwalk, and exactly that. Find them as they drop in. It's such a powerful position. He's actually going to back off that Molotov. It forces him into the open, but he's comfortable there. He's got a teammate. They've got the bomb. That's been dropped down by the van. Azza late, though. Simple just cleared this, remember. Oh, did he see him? No, he didn't. Azza can potentially open it up, but not with Simple alive still. 2 kills. And again, he lost 2 HP on those 2 kills. So remember when he had 3 HP, it was possible.
Yeah, it was
That's
possible.
What I was saying.
Yeah.
You know?
So Renegades now have a big decision to make.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. It did sound aggressive.
It did. It had a bit of a tone to
Very
it. Very
throaty.
Might have to sit that one out for a minute, bud. That's timeout for you.
Yeah.
Simple as 23
Everyone
kills.
went quiet as well, so nobody cheered for whatever he just said. So, alrighty, well.
Maybe he's very important.
Maybe.
Rat tagged up. 81, 79.
See that smoke there? That's more like how it should be thrown as opposed to the way that Renegades were doing it. And now Simple can just loiter around middle. Normally, people don't like loitering, but I'll allow it because it is the god. Screw the term, you know, GOAT. I know that means for greatest of all time, but Simple is just something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Edward peeks. Simple's there as well to back it up. He didn't want to overcommit and step out in case there was a spray. He was actually waiting above to drop down after Edward perished. So Flamey just waits in ladder room. Great position to have still, but this is it. Oh, we got it. This is it, Jacob. This is what I wanted to see more from Navi. He's actually got by them all. He is through the window. He is all the way around.
How does he kill the player up in apps, though?
That's a tough one to find. He can't even see him.
Oh, he gets it now. Free.
Yeah, done. Done.
But he needs to get the gun.
He's got it. It was dropped toward him. That's impressive that they had that much to work with.
Jacob
is just opening this round up himself, and he gets yet more. It's going to be simple and electronic, but at least one of them has a flank. That's simple. Electronic knows he has to work inside of checkers. That's where Jacob started to go. He could find an ace on this because he's got simple down. Electronic in front of him, and he's got all 5 started out with just a CZ, and he got map control. He got through the window.
And now he's up to 21 kills of his own.
That was just before Edward peeked out and killed the man who boosted him. Thankfully, he was already out of sight at that point because they thought it was clear.
That's a matter of inches right there. That is one of those tilt rounds that I could be talking about with Navi because they're going to be a bit flustered with communication. How was that even possible? And then even though it was possible, how do we lose to that regardless? 1 man, 5 kills, some upgraded pistols, and now they forced Navi down to a low buy. Could that be it? We saw a swing round in the earlier game of the day where Simple went absolutely mental. Well, Jacob's done something maybe not as stylish, but definitely as important in the context of this game.
Rats. Good shot. Simple, the one he finds, and the way he's playing, the one you would want to, as Jacob finds a 6th kill with that AUG now. Flamey wants to peek. Nicely done. He's got an AUG picked up, spotted. The repeat potential, but it was up from above, and he was so focused on that, JKS just slides out undetected.
Still possibility for damage here because Electronic holds that AUG. Azza is playing in rotation right now. If he gets caught, it becomes a 3v2 situation. There's no defuse kit. The bomb will eventually go down. Edward is on the potential for a very late flank, but very late being key here. It might just be the save call, and Edward wants to see if he can find one of the guns that was dropped earlier. He should be able to do that. Not too difficult for him. If Azza kills Edward, which he does, now Electronic has the jump on him. Azza will not be expecting this position, but Electronic stays still.
There's not, aside from breaking down the economy, there's not much Electronic has to gain. He's already got an AUG, he's already got head armor, he's got utility. So you could argue that it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other in some ways. But Renegades make this now 12-8. See, they understood my reference. 6 of one, half dozen, that was funny to them.
Yeah.
Clearly something else happened.
Maybe the other casters made the same joke.
Not really a funny joke at all, though, is it?
Look,
it's not even really a joke.
I'm trying to help you out here.
If I had said 6 of one, half dozen of a baker's dozen of the other.
Well, that's 13, right?
Which would be 6.5.
Yeah. Damn, now we're doing maths. So to note, map number 3 that will be coming up if we get there will be that of Train. Now, we did see Navi go down earlier in the day against the likes of ENCE on that map. I think there was a few key takeaways that there was lots of saves. Zeus definitely got exploited towards that inner bomb site, but ever since that game, he feels like he's well and truly warmed into this. He's been having a lot of impact. I say that, you know, but Chad, on this game of Mirage right here, it's just a simple show. Yeah, sure it is. But this is the anomaly, actually. When you look at the amount of maps played, he's had impact in all of them. So have the rest of Navi.
Yeah. It's a good case to make for the final, but I have to say Renegades are looking to shut them down and take, oh God, I was about to say cliche.
Take
the gust from their sheets. The wind from their sails, I was trying to change it up, man.
Okay.
Trying to stay away from it, it was really obvious.
Well, cliches are good for a reason.
Gust from their sheets sounds like someone's just farting in bed, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. All they're doing the windmill.
Nice.
So that saved AUG from Electronic is really the only saving grace. As Renegades have the lion's share of their numbers coming through the corridor of middle, 4 players stacked on the B-bomb site, and Zeus kind of being test dummy. Test dummy.
Yeah, but look at this. Azza already again.
It's unnecessary in this round. It's still lovely to see, that's for sure, because now they can just pinch onto A, but
Zeus is going to run and die.
It's made noise as well. And now Azza has the rotation cut off already.
So frustrating. Like, you're at a minute in the rounds. There's been no action aside from a bit of utility, and he's already behind you. Like, if I'm Zeus, I'd be a little tilted by this. They're going to get to 13 right now, Renegades. Map 3 is Train. First map was resounding from Navi, but I don't know how I rate them after this performance. They're a little slow. Jacob pursuing Edward. Only his default pistol, no armor. It's not like there's much in it for them. In fact, more to ruse, but they just want to make sure they get him down, send a message, get a little bit of that kill bonus too.
I think Liaz wanted a 6 kill as well because he's only sitting there with that many frags to his name. 11 for Gratisfaction, 18 for Azza, 22 for JKS, and now Jacob's taken over the lead with 23 to his name. He's had the most influential round thus far in the second half for the Renegades, that's for sure, on the other side of things. Well, Simple as well and truly above the rest, 24 to his name. The next closest is Edward on 13, 10 for Electronic, Flamey on 9, and Zeus only on 8. So it is just a simple show this time round, more or less. Renegades with a quick pace change. I think they're going to go for a fast B-split here. We've seen this one once or twice.
Simple was there. That would have worked out so well if there was a flash to accompany it. If Simple had to walk, and because when you're jumping, you can't turn your back.
Yeah.
If he gets blinded when he lands and Jacob just pushes the smoke, that could have been huge, but Gratisfaction gets Edward. That's underpass. Zeus back in the site only has the MP9. And now they don't have to commit to B. They don't have to try and play it with the split, which was the original intention. They can slow things down, and they can exploit middle. In fact, they can even exploit window again.
I have a point that I want to make about chewing gum later, Matt, so we'll bring it up in the freeze time. Because this is very important right here. Flamey, he might have to be the guy that goes for the information play from his position here. He can, oh no, he's being baited for. So Electronic on top of the ticket can actually lure them in, and he's looking towards the jungle position. So even if they do boost up window, Electronic sees caught between two mines there, knowing that is open because they do have 2 players over towards that B bomb site. They will get the window boost in again. And they are going to go back towards B, but this might come back to haunt them because we can see that there are still 2 players from Navi on the site. Zeus is actually forward with the MP9, and Simple is waiting back towards the bench position.
He's on 48 after the first exchange, though.
So Azza has the rotation cut off, but if they get locked down by Zeus and Simple here, then he's not going to be able to get there in time to help.
Zeus seems, his body language, if you will, suggests he wants to peek. Turns around, actually got away with that. The flash, they checked it. Simple's gone. Couldn't manage much in that position and already tagged up. 2-on-2, bomb to be planted, 10 seconds left in the round. If Simple even got 1 kill, might have been enough. Now it's Renegades looking to try and get map, excuse me, not map point, but round 14. If Electronic has anything to say about it, Flamey's still in this too. High ground and 2 kills for JKS. Incredible first half for him. And what a time to show up in the second with the AK. Oh. He's got Flamey walking in as well, 14-8.
Well, 2v1 situation there, back against the wall. There was no defuse kit in. If it came down to a closer round than that, then, you know, he could have juked the time, but happy to take the jewels. You can see him pre-aiming that angle there over towards Catwalk, so clinical stuff there from JKS. We did mention, and I'll do it again, JKS, the 3rd highest rated player in the tournament. Number 1 and number 2 is Simple, and then Electronic, and then coming in with the top 10 is Jacob. So JKS and Jacob are integral, at least in StarSeries Season 7, to the Renegades performance that we've been seeing. It's good that they're showing up right here, because we're getting an exciting game out of this one after what was a whitewash. Navi wiped the floor with them, made them look silly on their map choice of Inferno, and it's funny that we bounce back and forth, but when you think about that, if you look at the video, oh, you know, they lost their own map choices. What are they thinking? It's not like that. These teams have maps that intersect, interlock, cross on over, where they have strengths, they have weaknesses. Pimp on the desk, he was obviously torn between a prediction. And that's what happens when you can see positives and negatives in both sides. You don't know exactly what kind of game style is going to play on out here. So Navi, they've gone in with a bit of a purchase. They will be able to buy next round being the last round, but the light upgrade of a couple Deagles, CZs, Scout for Simple is still very threatening here. They're not going to allow Renegades to have a freebie by any means.
Nice shot, Flamey. He'll get JKS down. Electronic up close on the smoke. Oh, what? Leah's actually team kills due to the damage, so it still works out for them, but it might have been better off had it not still worked that way, because if he was up close, gets the AK, it might have led to a little bit more. Still, though, it's a 3-on-3. Simple on the scout. Zeus on the push. Bomb gets planted before he can capitalize, and now he's stuck between 2 players. One at CT, one still at default as he tries to go for the fight. Naz is going to clear CT. Now he can turn around. Now Simple has to make a decision. This is map point. Renegades forcing out Train.
And Train's going to be an interesting one because we did see it earlier.
Don't even. Don't even, Simple. Come on. Thank you, Gratisfaction. I can't. There's only so much we can handle.
Oh, I love to see it. So Renegades on train, I am getting a little bit ahead of myself here. We did notice some things that they were getting exploited against. They were playing, remember that phase game? It feels like a lifetime ago now, but Nico was the only factor that was getting phase rounds on the board versus Renegades CT side by finding opening picks. Renegades T side was also a little bit flat. Navi. Today they had some direct approaches, but not being able to hold on to the inner bomb site was the reason, or at least one of the key factors is them going down to. And so they're still able to win the series. That's why we see them here now in the semi-final. Just keep in mind, hang around, don't go anywhere. There's more Counter-Strike to come. We do have Fnatic versus NRG coming up after the conclusion of this series. Probably still about an hour, hour and a half before we even get there. But right now, Renegades are looking like they are going to take map number 2 here. No AWP for Gratisfaction. They're sticking with the 5 rifle setup. Direct approach towards middle and the aggressive push from Electronic.
Good shot, Gratisfaction to at least pull back onto Electronic. It was a trade. Simple's backed off window. He's expecting perhaps that they want to go for another boost there because it's worked so well for them in the past. Problem is they've lost the front of the A site. They're going to have to give that some attention. Oh, goodness, JKS. He may not have the most skills for his team, but he's had some of the most important, all on Simple, all done. As it closes it, 16-8 Renegades. With an equal task to that which was dealt to them on Inferno, have made this series dead level and what's left for Navi.
Lovely little bounce back there. So now, with it all tied up and both teams showing fantastic individual performances over both maps. Sure, this one, obviously, Jacob, he was the pivot point for Renegades in this second map in the second half. He was able to get an amazing round done there, but we will be going to the third. You don't get more exciting than this. And I can't wait to see what each team have prepared for one another. This is where now it comes into question about running out of steam for Navi.
Absolutely. Grab your energy drink of choice and breathe deep, brush it off. Let Kane stew over the results and perhaps the anticipation for the next map. It's going to be an interesting one. I absolutely agree. Simple again was there. No question about it. He was there. He didn't have much help this time. Seemed like a bit of a familiar story.
Yeah, well, he can't run out of steam, but maybe the rest of them can. We're running out a little bit.
I don't think he runs on steam. He runs on like battery. He's like a machine.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe machines still run. All right, listen.
Maybe
I'm running out of steam.
Yeah, let's go to a break. Check in with the analyst desk. Let us know what they're wearing. Tweet some stuff at us. We'll be back to cast.
players. Very impressive JKS 2.8 ratio, 28 frags. Jacob 24. Both of these players had over 100 ADR, so magnific show. Now, one question I have for Navi is the stamina. Right,
sure.
They've been playing for a long time. They've had 3 maps in the first game against ENCE. They're going on to the 3rd map against Renegades now. How much energy do they have?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that 3rd map. Let's just go ahead and switch gears straight away because we're going to train. That's the decider. And this was picked after all the veto process is said and done. Navi elects to go with train over Dust 2. That's what we've been given. Those are the facts. So walking into train, now that both teams have gained a map, we have a level playing field. We're back at a best-of-1 scenario. Talk to me about maybe just where we need to be looking for strengths and weaknesses on either side.
I mean, there's no doubt when you look towards the Navi side, the weakness is the inner bomb side, right? We saw Zeus struggle a lot against ENCE holding that inner bomb side. We saw Navi struggle a lot, sort of adapting into helping him a little bit more. It is a very tough spot to be on your own at, so we need to see a different Navi on the CT side this time around. What Navi normally does so well is something they weren't allowed to do against ENCE, you know, that mid-round aggression, Electronic pushing up towards T-main, pushing inside Pop Dog, Zeus holding his own inside, Symbol being that madman with the AWP. We didn't get to see that because ENCE was simply just shutting it down from Navi, so if they can sort of like figure out those mistakes that they were making against ENCE, I believe that Navi will have a much stronger showing here in the train than we saw in the first game today.
But will it be enough to propel them over the finish line?
Yeah, I believe so, for a few reasons. The first one being, when you lose a map and you get the luxury to play it again on the same day, you're very much aware of the mistakes you made, right? It's very bright in your head. You know what kind of
spots,
shock
like just the little things,
yes,
right?
We always say it's easier to play again the map that you lost rather than you won, because when you win, you just think, you know, I made it all right. Whereas when you lost, you're actually aware of the mistakes you did. And the second thing is, I don't think ENCE, I mean, Renegades have the same strength as ENCE on that map. I don't think they're as comfortable on their T side, not that much variation or depth in the game. So I wouldn't be that afraid for Navi. I think they have what it takes to make it 2-1.
Okay, you're going Navi.
Sticking.
You're going Navi too? Jesus, guys. I actually said Renegades at the beginning of series, but let the graphics lie to you because that's what they do sometimes. Always check your facts. Don't want any alternative ones around here. The facts are this. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we have Train for You, the final installment of this semifinal, and one which we're going to see one of these teams move on to the grand final tomorrow. So don't go anywhere. Don't adjust that dial. We'll be right back.
Place your
Liege, who are a little bit more quiet and they're not necessarily, you know, having to call strats every round. I'm a bit worried that somebody might choke on some chewing gum.
That was the point.
That was the whole point.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So I get it. You tied it into a little story to make a point. That's okay. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of players are doing it now, right? So, you know, it's meant to be... Maniac had a point about it. I can get him to do it on the post-game death segment.
I've always been told that using it as some sort of a tension release.
Apparently, it's because eating... I'm going to get this right. Maniac, tweet at me if I'm wrong. Actually, he can't hear me. He's up there.
Yeah.
But the point is with it is that when you're eating, you feel like you're comfortable, like you're in a safe environment. I'm going to double check. I want to get this point checked out.
That's very different. I would have thought it was some sort of like when you tense up in an extreme situation,
Sure.
the chewing alleviates some of that muscle tension.
Okay. Well, I'll message him.
That's just me hypothesizing.
I'm going to do it right now.
Out of a guess. Yeah,
I'm doing it right now.
Welcome to the Gum Stream. Things are going to get a little bit sticky in this one because it is map 3, and Navi looked excellent on Inferno. They absolutely trounced Renegades.
Getting there.
It was immediately after a series they played against ENCE. Obviously, the quarterfinal, they elected to play immediately after, and then now they struggled on Mirage. Leads us to train, and it could be a series that I can't predict at this point.
Well, Peter just made a very good tweet, right? He's saying this bounce back attests to the progress of Renegades, right? Because if they were steamrolled out of this and it was a 2-0, kind of what happened at the Major, because I think Dust 2 was the first map and they lost in a blowout fashion. Sure, it was a closer game on the second map, but they still just lost. Here they bounced back. Sure, it was on Navi's pick, still a very big strength that for the Australian, New Zealand, and the Norwegian side. But it is a good step forward for these guys nonetheless, and we'll get underway with the knife round here. Now, obviously, the CT side would be the preferred position to be kicking this one off on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very much the case. Simple has had, of the 5 maps they played, one that arguably wasn't that incredible. Still like good kills, just not as much impact, not as much clutch moments. That map just so happens to be Train. They'll begin and end their 6 maps today on this map, whether they move on or not.
So obviously there was a lot of discussion about this on the internet. People like, why is it directly after? Once again, just to reiterate the point, it was actually at the discretion of the teams who didn't want to have to wait around in, you know, a 3 to 4, maybe even 5-hour lull, depending on how long that match would have taken, which would have been NRG versus Fnatic, which is our following game. But now with that knife round done, Renegades, they're sitting down, they're getting ready to go. I'll make sure I bring you that point about chewing gum as soon as it becomes available to me.
Just waiting for it to be allocated.
Well, it's like legitimate information coming from Mathieu because he is actually qualified to read people. So I'm always a little bit worried when I talk to him. I think he's probably...
Oh, he did psych, didn't he? Yeah, man. He probably thinks I'm absolutely insane.
Well, if he
Wait, hang on. He did psych, and he's named Maniac.
Yep.
Maybe that's like some next-level self-awareness right there.
Sure. Or maybe he's lulling us all in by making his name allow us to believe that he's insane, when in reality, he's the most level-headed and digesting all of our craziness.
But at the same time, that's something that a maniac and a sociopath would do,
that's
right?
True.
So now he's playing psychology to make us think we're a maniac, he's a maniac, I'm confused.
Could be like the mental Hulk.
Okay. He has to get angry to get strong?
Maybe, or maybe it's like some other trigger. It doesn't necessarily have to be anger. But we'll be kicking this one off shortly. Now, we need to build on the negatives that were Navi in the first game because they did lose it, right? So we need to explain to the viewer what went wrong. And Zeus was unfortunately exploited towards that inner bomb site. Now, it wasn't in the traditional fashion that you see off the early gun rounds. It actually came in the middle of the piece. 3 rounds in a row, the exact same call was made by that side of ENCE, and it was just explosions in towards that inner site. We should be getting underway momentarily, as we can see Liaz right there with his Harry Potter-esque glasses.
Yeah, the forward hair. I tried that for a while. I actually thought it looked great off camera. It just looked absolutely awful on camera. I agree with all of you that tweeted me that endlessly, nonstop at the London Major. Thank you very much for letting me know.
They really like to hurt our feelings down there.
You know what, though? When you get self-confidence coming out of your butt, you're not going to be too hurt.
So,
too butt hurt?
It's the worst kind of hurt I've heard.
Did Henry tell you that?
No, I don't know where I read that stat.
So DE Train, as I say, it starts and ends today, at least, for Navi on this map. 6 maps they'll have played. Do they move on to play potentially 3 more or 5 more tomorrow? Remember, best of 5 finals. We still have 1 more quarter after this as well. NRG, they've been waiting all day to play. Zeus is waiting for this round to come to his favor. They might.
He did this before with the CZ75 as well, so that was on overpass where he found effectiveness from the sandbag position. He's by himself, so if he's good for one here, he's going to stifle the progression. The little jiggle peak spotting it out is going to allow the rotation to come in. So Simple now is over from connector. He's posted on up. Renegades have a Molotov, which could be applied to his position, or maybe the smoke, but either way, it's going to obscure his vision. Okay, so the smoke's going to land in the middle of the lanes. The Molotov towards the back of Bomb Train.
Shots out through the smoke. Zeus not able to do much about it. Has to hold off behind the train. Does now peek to find Azza. Good damage on the second as well. That's Jacob. He's down to 10. Simple still sits with 79. He's able to transfer over to the top of the tanker. That gives him some vision inside of the site. And Edward and Electronic give him tons of room, tons of confidence. And they'll just go after Leas directly. He gets the shot himself. And it is going to be 1-0 for Navi. I say NRG's been waiting to play. That's not to forget their opponents. It's Fnatic that's been waiting as well. Both of those teams eager to make a final appearance. For NRG, they had a really slow start in this event. I wasn't sure they were even going to make it through groups. Yeah. Remember, in some ways, not at all in this event, but spiritually, they are the defending Chinese champions. The last time they were here, they won IEM Shanghai. There's been lots of events in between. It's hard to say that, but they like winning.
It's almost a year ago at this point. Oh,
that's a lie, like
9 months. It was in late July.
Okay.
And we're in April.
Yeah, okay.
So I know it feels like yesterday, but that's not the case. As Renegades, they're going to force buy back in. They've got full grenades here to go for a bit of a set piece. So let's see, is it going to be fast towards Yard or just going to be inside play? As we can see with the X-ray, all 5 players scurrying through the white walls. They could do nades through the skylights. Sorry, they're not skylights. They're windows towards the Yard position. Or they can just go in and do a complete set piece on the inner bomb site, where Zeus is currently alone. The rotation will come in the form of Flamey with the Org to be his overseer, his guardian angel.
So Zeus waits it out with the UMP. He'll smoke to buy space. Pistols, you could argue, just run through that anyway. Flamey's got the high side covered. I suppose there's also no harm in letting that smoke completely remove itself before going in. Good Molotov. Incendiary, rather. Won't let them transfer to the bomb site so easily. The bomb has gone down the lane behind him, and no one's watching that, so he's actually just sitting in between them. He was not aware. He won't be pleased about that, Zeus. He'll have expected his team to have taken a stance to not allow them to get so much ground. They're going to get a bomb plant, and they're already so far forward, holding onto the UMP with 2 kills. This could be Renegades stealing one back from Navi instead. Electronic does see one high, but that gives away that he's there, which means he can't sneak up toward the bomb, and it's going to draw a lot of attention his way on 22 HP. He's even thinking about getting out. At least back off. Let Simple and Edward do the challenge instead, and you're right, no kit, no time. They might just back off this altogether. They'd have to be on in the next 5 seconds. Simple just wants to make it expensive. He'll run forward, but it's done.
Yeah, not the same symptom of the save that we saw earlier in the day, but it will be a save. Oh, Leas not going to get away with his life, so the damage is done. So this time around, Navi stayed to take away guns. Against ENCE, I'm sure it was on later rounds when they actually were rifle v rifle, but they didn't want to give away anything there. They actually wanted it to be holding onto their guns, not risk anything of their economy while letting that build for the Finns. In this situation, they've done a lot of damage right there, but Renegades are still stealing one back. So they're in this series, that's for sure. 4 AK-47s, UMP for JKS. On the other side of things, we have the 2 saved Orgs, 2 CZ-75s, and a UMP. It's going to be 2 men towards the inner bomb site. Simple's going to swing out from high ramp here any minute, so Jacob and JKS, they're going to have to deal with this.
Simple. Wow. Yeah, that looked like a pretty straightforward kill. It bounced all over the place on him.
They expect to see him, considering his form today, converting those. Just to be able to get it down. The Molotov is too late, so he's picked that up. And with Jacob's low HP, any of the weapons on the board right now can eliminate him from this round. Renegades have 3 players postured over towards Team A, and Leaz is jiggle peeking to cover Ivy. Gratisfaction and Azza are stacked one up on the bin and on the ground, so they can cover any main pushes, and they can also throw grenades from here, because those late round scenarios for Renegades, we did see it was against FaZe. Remember, they were winning 3-on-5 situations. They were winning a lot of rounds that maybe they shouldn't. I don't think Navi are going to give them the same avenue in. They have to be cleaner on their rounds, that's for sure. So I think what it looks like is going to happen is going to be a fake towards inside with JKS and Jacob. And then the remainder of players from Renegades are going to come through Team Middle. Gratisfaction's about to throw flashes over the top of main. They're going to go through this smoke, I think. They have to.
Edwards, wow. Hits, but wants to fight. Electronic is fighting, and so too is Flamey. As a 23 wants to go back for the bomb. JKS 58 wants to make sure that that's possible, but can't really get overly aggressive. Electronic realizes that they have the upper hand with the HP. He'll back off, spots another. They rotate back out to Pop Dog. Okay, now interestingly, bomb actually got thrown to JKS. He can still make the run. 11 seconds. I think he gets there. Okay, no, you're right. Electronic's perfectly positioned. Done. That was all called. As soon as Electronic saw the bomb going that way, he knew what the plan was.
Exactly.
Run Pop Dog and get over there as fast as possible.
So now Renegades have a choice, right, after losing that one. Do they want to force buy again? There was only 2 guns carried across for that of Navi. We saw what happened in the earlier stage. They went for the save, and Renegades will buy back. So they don't want to give up any ground in these early stages. And the reason that that's so important is, especially if you go round for round against the CTs, eventually if the Ts are able to string some together, they can actually get the stranglehold of the economy, and that's a good way to post up more rounds. And if it goes round for round on the T side as well, that benefits Renegades even more so. So quick play towards inside. JKS with that AK, a lot of weight on this kid's shoulders. No longer a kid, I say. Has to pick off Zeus towards the low ramp, who's Jiggle peeking away. He gets caught lazy on this. He does take a lot of damage, but now they know that AK is on the board. Flamey, his Link player, will rotate back through connector, be able to bolster the inside defense. As they're watching Ivy, Leaz and Team Main, Jake and Stack and Deagle down, so they know at least they're working against an AK and a Deagle. Strat's covering up Pop with the bomb. They only have flashes to work with, so JKS actually needs to be aggressive or have a player jump and bait for him to open up an avenue for him to pick into this round.
Edward.
He wants to go back to Team Main to pick, just to note. He's actually walking all the way back, and the clock is ticking down all the meanwhile. Up close personal positions from Electronic towards Main. Edward is still in Pop Dog, and Simple is actually playing close towards the 5 train, covering off Ivy. Well, will be an Ivy play here.
Yep. I think that's the case. And with 5 going Ivy, that opens up the option to actually wrap all the way around to B still. Should it present itself? That's kind of a situational call.
Just
you have
time.
Time, and also depends, yeah, with 30 seconds, I'm going to say it's not happening, but depends on where the smokes are, depends on where the defenders are. If there's someone at the backtracks, obviously you're going to pull a hard right and go inside the site. If there's someone there, maybe you go the other way. They've elected to split this 3-2. Outside is the goal. Electronic waiting on the half wall. I call it the half wall because he's halfway toward Pop Dog, and outside the connector to watch out A Main. Simple gets the first, but he drops after. You're right. The round will not be. Jacob's got a shot back. Edward gets the important kills, and there was only 7 seconds. They wouldn't have had the comfort to plant the bomb. So now, Navi find 3-1.
I don't know what just happened, but
I didn't catch that either. I thought we missed some sort of BM or some sort of...
Maybe it was.
Could have been inside the booth.
Could have been anything right there, but now this is where Renegades will concede. So the same thing happened to them on Inferno, I believe it was. They lost to the Force Buy. They tried to buy back in. They couldn't get it, and then they go, okay, well, now we'll take an eco. So we want to save up and get some big guns in play. Jacob will actually have a Zeus. Down Pop Dog he goes.
That's bold. That's aggressive. You want to take a Zeus down Pop Dog? Simple's got JKS. A pretty straightforward round. I think all 5 should even stay alive at this rate from this range. Electronic takes Gratisfaction down, and with that, 4-1 now. So they're stretching out a little bit. But that's mostly due to the money. We had 1-1-1. That always happens. There's going to be a bit of a momentary lull, shall we say, in the intense action.
To note as well, Electronic is already up to 11 kills. We saw him with a very good start earlier in the day as well. He was up close Team Main, up close Pop Dog, presenting a real nuisance for ENCE. And then it tapered off because their approach, they got made a bit of a fool with all these inside players. Renegades, what can they do right now? A very direct approach to Ivy here. Maybe they'll go for that play you were talking about when they try and flank through CT spawn and wrap onto the bomb by catching Navi players in rotation. Zeus towards the high ramp. Only with the UMP, so he can't really go aggressive for a duel, but he can take advantage once they've taken the box holes.
Flamey, nade through.
No damage.
Absolutely none. Would have bounced or ricocheted back to the right a little bit, so the 3 toward the dumpster would have been fine, but didn't go far enough apparently to reach Jacob either. JKS backs off from Pop Dog. It's Flame wants to work in. He's got a gap in the smoke. Gets behind it, but doesn't commit to the wall. Good thing as well, because the shots came back in from Electronic. Simple still waits out in front of the site as well with the AWP.
So they want to go sunny side. That smoke right there means they can boost on over, but they walk into the AWP of Simple.
First, then Edward follows it up. Flame Dogger can go back to the smoke. Lias is in the open.
Easy as you like.
And he and Electronic close it out 5-1. Even with the guns, they can't get kills. There's almost 10K.
What a clean round right there.
I think there probably is 10K because your GoTV likes to do whatever it's doing.
I think it's really temperamental.
Doesn't like you, does it?
No, I don't know what I did to it. The Renegades now, they'll be down on some Deagles. Maybe they need to try and get the AWP up in Gratisfaction's hands to allow him to try and set the pace, set the tempo. We did have earlier matches in the tournament where Renegades just weren't stubborn, but their approach was more than happy to stay with rifles. And then Grat got the AWP up late, and he was fine impact here. You can be relatively loose if you're Renegades right now by floating around the map and trying to isolate Jules. There's lots of places to use Deagles. The meat cleavers could be dangerous.
That's fortunate. Through the smoke, gets Jacob down. Needs will do this time damage. None at all. Either increase the radius or get rid of the particle issue with nades. I suppose that Astralis shows us that they're still relevant. They've brought them back in. There's been a lot more damage done by nades lately. But I still think they could be better. Like, that is the weakest nade. If I could have any nade, I'd rather have a smoke, a flash, or a Molotov.
Well, if you have a design purpose for it, like where you do a tactical nuke with the team, then yeah, it makes sense, right? But I agree with you in the sense that if you can make it so that if a grenade doesn't completely stifle its damage, if it lands as a step, and then only what, you know?
Yeah, right beside it, but all the damage goes into the right angle of the stairwell. Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
So that's where it needs to be adjusted. We need to note right now that Liaz is on 1 kill for Azza, and 1 kill for Gratisfaction. So frags are definitely not aplenty for Renegades right here, as the scoreline is currently 6-1. They need to get on the board. They need to get going. And once again, the AWP will not be the port of call. At this point, if I'm Renegades, I'm thinking, let's go and try and exploit Zeus towards inside. That's the only place we found success. We did it with CZs. Why can't we do it with AKs? But if I'm Navi, I'm thinking, let's send our best player towards high ramp with an AWP to give him the 1-2 punch.
Simple, just waiting it out. He's got to back off. Molotov down. That'll help clear the corner.
He's very direct on this. He's just going searching for frags. Oh!
Good find at least, though, by JKS. Yes, Simple gets a fast trade, but at least he got away with one walking out upper while Simple was in transition, because it could have cost him very much. Jacob has Simple down. Good position, you're right. It was already inside of the site. That's going to clear B and allow the rotation for the bomb. Electronic, it may seem like he's fast on a flank, but it's still a long corridor. And honestly, they'll be watching for the Pop Dog flank anyway, so it might just be best to back off on this from the Navi side, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. There's one. 3 kits, 1 smoke, 2 flashes, and incendiary, but
it is the same.
Yeah, they've already pretty much decided that.
But this time they even said Simple there to make sure that this couldn't happen. It was a different approach. It wasn't the same thing that ENCE were doing, which was just a flash or 2 and then pop down the low ramp or pop out the high ramp. It was actually just really good timing.
Does Liaz do what I used to do?
Liaz?
Yeah. I think he does what I used to do when I used to play. It's when he's like peeking around the corner to the right, he'll move his whole head to the right as if it's going to change his POV.
Dodging flashes, turning his face away from the screen.
Gratisfaction with 2 kills at the end. That's going to take the guns away all but Flamies. Still have enough to buy. They've got tons of money, but they're trying to stretch that out, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that. Like, you just, it's like leaning. You kind of like move your whole body. Like, oh, if I do it in real life, I can get that extra inch. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Apparently, as like a little kid, when I had the snares, I would do that. But I don't recall that because I think I was like 4 or 5 or something along those lines.
I definitely don't do it anymore, but yeah, people used to make fun of me for that. All right, it was really hard. That was really sensitive.
Renegades with the pause, according to our lower third, so we have no reason to not trust it. As we're going to get the buy on the board, and they're still not going for any AWP, because if Grab bought in, he would have been glass cannon. So Galil on Azza. He's bought into a lot of utility here when he could have actually bought an AK. Unless that was dropped across to him. I didn't quite see it.
Here's your substitution of money. So Simple spent 64. Didn't see on the other side. Azza with Simple on the other side.
He was dropped to Galil by Grat, so interesting.
Simple's backed off the angle, and that's exactly when they're going to peek out. They'll cross on the flash. He knows they're there, tries to re-peek. Now he has the angle with confidence that they'll arrive. But they're just clearing it. They're just actually pushing them back, and
hasn't worked, has it? No. Simple has full line of vision, and Edward is close pop dog. So this duel here hinges a lot right now for Navi.
Catch them. Thought they were sneaky. They thought they were clever with the nade, and they're going to go for the totem. Totem with a pre-flash. Pre-flash to the stairs? What's that intention?
He did it to bait the noise.
To bait the noise, exactly. He wanted him to look away.
It's coming in.
But now they both have to deal with the fact that Electronic was going to re-arrive. Gratisfaction was already turned away, waiting for a flash. That one didn't work out for him. Didn't bounce it out. But that's quite clever. Just bounce it once, just to force him to look away. It doesn't blind them at all as a result, and they drop down with full vision.
Yeah, definitely the next iteration of the mind games of the totem drop. But Simple still has low ramp control, and here he can light one up. Dropping back, the call will come in. They have to pedal.
Oh, what? He got that through the edge of the train. That is such a tight angle, and he pulls it off. Zeus just comes over to clean up the rest. 7-2 now for Navi. Almost fed for Zeus, but that's true too. He's on Navi.
Yeah, leading the team. Driving this potentially dysfunctional team that still gets it done. I love the fact we have a contrast between, you know, different teams right now. Obviously, Astralis, they do everything, you know, prim and proper. They sit up straight. They give all the right answers. You've got Navi, slightly dysfunctional. You still love them anyway. Actually play probably the most entertaining style of Counter-Strike. You've got Liquid, who are star-studded pound for pound, probably have taken over the mantle from FaZe of the Rockstar approach to Counter-Strike. But it is just going to be this inside hit again as
Couple
Renegades.
Canadians as well, just going to throw that in there.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. America, I didn't say the United States.
I know, I wasn't suggesting that. I'm just saying they're cooler because there is actually Canadians. And they're not sorry about it.
Strangely enough, JKS had the AK, but he's just swapped it over with Jacob. I assume JKS took the point because he maybe had a better spawn to go for the initial pick. But now that he doesn't have head armor, they've given it to Jacob, who does. And it will be this inside execute yet again. So towards this School's position, Zeus has to multi-frag from here. Oh, Hazard just got shot at by a teammate. So a little bit interesting going on right now.
Nice nade. Nice nade. He takes all of it. Zeus.
Have to do better there.
So much damage, though. That's the one thing that still works for them. Jacob's on 48. The other two are bleeding out, especially Elias. He's on 3. Does that matter against an AWP? Apparently not either way, because Simple hits the shot.
Look at him go. He knows they're close too.
Flashes, absolutely does. Misses it, though, because as it crouches, as he was lining up for the body shot, but the 2 kills follow anyway for Navi, and for their sake, they'll find their 8th.
Looking real good for Navi right now. Definitely none of that saving mentality that we saw going on earlier. They want to fight for all these rounds, and they're making it more than interesting. Warmed up, yep. Running out of steam, doesn't look like it. And now Renegades with the bomb plant. The max loss bonus will exist. And you're going to say, Chad, what are you talking about? Well, it's the way that the bank's being built up, because they did lose 5 in a row, and then they've lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, they won 1, lost 2 in a row. Yeah.
So they're able to get the buy on the board.
I think it should be capped at 34.
I agree.
I don't think it should stay 34, 34, 30.
Shouldn't buffer.
Yeah, buffer's the right word, exactly.
But the AWP will finally come out for Gratisfaction. We're 10 rounds deep on the first half of the deciding map in the semi-final right here at StarSeries Season 7. So many games of Counter-Strike have been played. Very competitive. Astralis and Liquid chose to sit this one out. They sat at home while the rest of the world came here to battle it out in Shanghai, China. Navi are looking hot right now. It's been a different look, Navi, for a lot of this. It hasn't just been the Simple and Electronic show. At the major, it was the trio. Flamey had a banger of a time. He's been quiet. But Zeus and Edward, they're earning their paycheck this time round, statistically speaking.
Yeah, Zeus has looked sick today. More of what you want to see from Navi. Remember, it's Energy and Fnatic on the other side of the bracket. Simple. Who's set up with the bomb trade? Different angle. Lets you see toward the pallet. Fire at the wall above. You watch. Checks. No one there. No one there. Where is it? He'll fire at the stairs. Oh, I thought that was going to be it. That's his style, right? Yeah. I don't see anyone, so I might as well just take the shot.
Michael Jordan, you
that was
shot you don't take.
That was Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. That's a sporting reference. I'm not too good with the handballs.
It's also played with a puck and a stick.
And padding and skates and ice.
Yeah.
So this is in a really good position here to swing forward if the nades come over, and he's going to push anyway. Jacob almost caught quick switching right there, and he's going to do it again. If he gets,
it's one of those things, right?
It's a nervous tick, right?
Yeah.
Do it again, bro. See how many times you can get away with it.
Jason once made me unbind it because it got me killed. I kill someone, I instantly quick switch as a
4
little
times.
celebration. It's 5 in my count.
I blinked.
6. At least he's got the gun ready, but Zeus still wins it. Even with the dink, he will get traded out.
2 inside already, though. The rotations come through. Simple's going to be there well and truly in time.
Oh, didn't get the shot, but Flamey's down below is ready for it. They now know he's there, and they'll look that direction. Very spammable is that school. Simple. Gone. Thought he could get the cross. He actually gave himself up to Gratisfaction. And even though there's no smokes, that goes both ways because now they're going to walk in against the AWP, which is looking towards that connector. Might just back out of this again. They are a little bit lower in the money now. They don't have up toward 10K. They've got 3K on Electronic.
Yeah, will be the save. So I just got the information in from Maniac now. He's given me a very simplified version because, first of all, I'm not very smart. Second of all, we don't have all the time in the world. But there's a theory is that in the history of mankind, you would presumably eat when you're in a safe situation, right?
Right, okay.
And
or if you're hungry.
From that, he said that's only one factor in the complex chemical situation, though. So there's a lot here. But anyway, we're digging into like a very face value situation. Basically eating, so the chewing of chewing gum, is a feeling of security, aka stress relief. Now,
so it's stress relief, but in a different way than I said. I thought it was like a muscle tension thing.
He said it's quite the shortcut to get to this point, but I can see the logic behind that, that's for sure. I thought it was just so there was less bitching and moaning from the players because
I always thought that chewing gum made you more hungry because your mind was thinking you were chewing and therefore you were going to get fed and you never do.
Yeah, well,
there's so many theories. Like, all right, so we're just at like the tip of the iceberg. It also collects in your stomach forever in a ball and lasts for 7 years.
I don't know how true that is.
The other one that goes right through. I don't know how true any of it is my point.
Yeah, you're right.
There's more myths about bubblegum than there is about your ex-girlfriends. You've mentioned them a few times, Chad. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, sometimes it crops on up. I was going to say everyone enjoys mastication. Chewing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of that and more.
All right, so we're getting down to what could be the dicey stage here for Navi. The score is currently 8-3, going into round number 12. The AWP is out. We've already seen Gratisfaction find influence with it. This time around, there's going to be some opening nades come out towards the yard. Smokes toward 5 lane. There'll be no E-Box 1 to follow. Electronic's going to push on forward, getting up close and personal to make sure they can't control Olaf. There's going to be 3 players pinned in towards team main for Renegades right now, so they want to pounce out of this position. JKS is going to come through the pop dog. Gratisfaction's going to throw some nades over the top and then be the overseer with it all through. They come, the flash. Electronic completely blind.
He's hit another shot as well. Things are falling apart. Simple's doubled up. Flamey doubles down. Gratisfaction with the AWP and the bomb against 3 players. Minute 15 to work with. No one's staring at him just yet, so he's actually going to transfer across to where I don't think they're going to expect him. They won't think that he's at Pop Dog. They're going to think he's still out towards Sandwich. The scope is prohibiting his vision. That's going to cost him in the end, surely. Because Flamey was in a regular field of vision, but the black circle made it impossible to see him.
Renegades will be able to buy again here. Azza is the only one who doesn't have enough money to get an AK-47 and armor up on the board. Gratisfaction could be dropped over an ult from Liaz, and they could go for something a little bit more pick-heavy. But inside has been the best place for them to go, right? Exploiting that inner bomb site. Heading to B, for those of you who aren't familiar with the reference. We said the simple approach worked for ENCE earlier, and now Simple is going to be posted up low round with the AWP again. He can...
That's not really how you're meant to do that.
Nope.
Downed at least by Leas. That'll bring it back. It's a 4-on-4. JKS will be a little bit frustrated because it was a movement fail on his part. That's a little better from Jacob. See, son, watch my screen. I'll teach you. Still loses health for it. Takes a little bit back. Doesn't really work that way. It's not vampirical. It's not vampirical. There we go. We'll just breeze over that one. But it puts him on 72.
So right now, Liaz has not forward position to Ivy, but he has a position to potentially flank out late. Jacob can come late pop, but Electronic is still holding up close and personal. So he's going to think better of it and walk on back through to meet up with Azza towards T-Main. Gratisfaction now over towards Ivy with Liaz. The UMP of Azza, it has a short life on it. After he clears main, then he needs to get out and get close. So he might have to actually wait because he's going from this position alone. Jacob is coming over towards Ivy 2. There's a timer on the smoke that Edwards just put down, and they're creeping forward. They're actually playing more passive as well, so they want them to push out here. They want to set up the crossfire once the territory has been taken. Lots of nades right now for Renegades, but the time is the problem. 20 seconds left. They're leaving this one down the wire.
Simple on top of the bomb. Here's the noise behind you. All the attention to Ivy. Blind. Doesn't matter. Magic wand.
Wait, Zeus from behind. He can stop the plant.
He's good. Azza. He got it down just in time, and the kill came through anyway to find the 4th round for Renegades. That was close.
All right. How many do you think Renegades need on the T side? Because we keep harping up, or at least I do, their CT sides. That's where they get the lion's share of their work done.
They had a chance for a comeback on the CT side against Astralis, and if I'm not mistaken, it was something along the lines of 10-5 or 9-6. So they're already there or thereabout.
Just going to take a little look on into the stat lines here for Renegades on train.
Yeah, give me the Astralis one notably. I think that gives us good context as to top opponents. Would have been in the major final. Either way, in the meantime, Simple waits below JKS. Multi-layered levels are always a good bit of fun. The Electronic will get main down below as Jacob fires just to make sure no one's pushed up. Edward. CZ.
So Renegades, with this roster, they've played train 13 times.
Go on.
Oh, thank God that stopped because I thought I was going to be
talking over the action.
Yeah.
That's why I said go on.
So they've won 10 times, lost 3. 57% of their rounds won have come on the CT side.
Sure. The Astralis halftime score, what was it though?
On
because they got clutched out on train. Because Zipix.
They did Mirage first, then it was Nuke, and then it was Inferno. So maybe it's Nuke that you were thinking of.
Oh, it was ENCE I'm thinking of, not Renegades. Right, my mistake.
Renegades had a comeback on Nuke in the first half. They were down. What is the scoreline here?
They just played ENCE. That's why I'm still
6-2.
thinking because they played them on train.
We had a lot of games going down today here, but the clock is ticked low again.
Dink on the second player. The MP9 does a massive amount of damage. That gives them a chance. Inside of the site, he is also down. The low HP may not matter. JKS found one further, but now I think it's all too far gone. 7 seconds, no time to plant. Azza, though, knows where they all are. They got a second one on it, 10-4.
In my opinion here, I think Renegades need to convert this last round to give themselves a buffer. The pistol rounds
57's not a big difference, is it?
Obviously, that's taking in the infancy of this roster. Back when they first joined, there's been a complete revolution of this team in 2019, that's for sure. So if we want to break the stats down to the last 3 months alone, ever since this hyperbolic chamber of a boot camp that happened for them over 6 weeks in Katowice, Poland, where they just played against the world best, it swings quite heavily. It becomes 66% of their rounds have come from CT sides of a 4-1 setup there with a win over FaZe, 2 wins over MIBR, win over Avant.
Oh, I just missed.
The Alligator's out for Jacob with the pickup. You love it.
Hey, got that back from Edward.
Not so easy to use on the T side.
Saw an alligator compound in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico recently. It's where they put all the unruly ones. And there was probably 14, 15, I would say probably closer to 20, just literally on the other side of a chain link fence.
Well, this
staring
is
at us.
quick towards inside. Simple's missed. Can he get a second? Yes, he can. Will be synced up in the process. Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely he can't. Bomb stays on the deck, 10 HP, and he's already communicating that one's crossed over. Surprisingly, though, Electronic nearly got caught out by that. They'll close the half on 11-4. It almost seems standard procedure at that point. That's protocol.
Makes it look so easy as well, doesn't he? Towards the end, you know. We spoke about it before. Any of the highlights that Simple's done, if other players had done that throughout their entire career, they'd be smiling ear to ear. Simple's just content to get the round on the board. We were just talking about the wins for Renegades this year. It was actually 1 win against MIBR and 1 loss against MIBR. 1 came in the major, There was a 16-12 loss. The other came here at StarSeries, where they won 16-4. Before that, they'd beat Avantgarde 16-8. In the major, Asian Minor, they had beaten VG 16-7. So that's not too bad. If we look on over at Navi's stat lines on this map for the last 3 months, so just kind of looking at 2019, we can bring up Train and we can see how they compare and the level of opponents. They've also played it 5 times. However, they have won at 3 and lost it twice. They lost to ENCE today. We saw that one live. They beat VG 16-6.
In the 2 Train maps, I just want to point out quickly, today that is, Electronic now has 51 kills.
Okay, so he's a bit of a, I don't want to say Train specialist because he's good everywhere, but maybe he stands up.
Train aficionado.
Shines a little bit more, so Renegades are going to be allowing JKS solo inside here. He's trying to peek for information. Won't see anything. Oh, there we go. He is going to spot up one. The bomb's going to follow on through. They do have a smoke and a flash on Zeus. And once again, the P250 on Simple. Gratisfaction's rotated on over. It's going to be this inside hit any moment, but they're not ready for it. They haven't actually put the right pieces in the right places. So JKS, third highest red player in the tournament, he's going to have to get a lot done here under pressure. Here it comes.
Waiting out for it. Drop in. JKS gets the first shot. Knows they're working up the sidewalk. Fortunately for him, taken down by Flamey. And already with the plant coming in, they watch the flank by way of Simple. He's got the P250 to work with. Range still favoring inside of the site directly. Aside from Edward picking up the USP, the CTs who start their way back around. Gratisfaction has the kit. He's got to be a little bit careful. The closer he dies to the bomb, I suppose, less the issue. Now it's behind the Train. They'll have to pick that back up immediately. Otherwise, if they continue pushing forward, they have to go backwards to get it as it gets Flamey. Kit's not picked up yet.
They didn't get it.
And Simple's going to have to wrap around. You're absolutely right. They didn't pick up the kit, which is a problem. If they did it while fighting, they might have given themselves a chance. They haven't. It's a 1-on-2. Jacob still gets the shot, but I think the time's gone.
Good shots, but
he can't get there. Yeah, if he had had the kit on the way up, maybe they could have fought more aggressively to try and get it defused, but there it is. He picks it up now. Either way, it's Navi on 12.
Yeah, that one there really stings to pick that up after the fact. Right now, both pistols going in the favor of Navi here. The first half, Renegades were actually able to force buy and win it back, but then they lost the consecutive. Well, they're going to fight again here. Jacob has a Famous, Scout for Azza, Scout for JKS. Liaz, CZ75, Gratisfaction, saved $1,000, has some nades and a P250. Early utility exchange towards the yard. Jacob already dropped on down to 49 points of health. Arguably has the strongest weapon, depending on how much stock you put in that Famous. Towards Ivy, that's a tag. That's not only a tag, that's a headshot.
Electronic wants to get back in and work with that. Headshot, tag, need, wombo combo. Jacob just checking out A-main.
So Electronic is probably going to lurk late here from Ivy, and the rest of the players are going to go towards the inside bomb site. So he has 2 options in this scenario. Go really late and play the post plant and try and be the clutch factor, or go early to make sure that players have to remain on this outer site. Liaz is the first player he's going to have to deal with. And once again, Electronic in the smoke looking at the ground. They've seen him do it time and time again. And he gets the better of Liaz.
Yowzes. All he could see was his gun and his... That was enough. They get taken off. Dinked up at least, I think, at the first shot. And as a headshot for the kill. That one does.
And they rotated.
Finds Gratisfaction. You're absolutely right. However, Azza is still over here. Tag on the first. Edward drops in. Flamey finds JKS. I think Navi's finding their 13th round, if you ask me. Jacob is on the flank. Bomb's planted, though. Andrew ready enough, let's say. Because they don't get the kill, but it gives everyone the information. There will be no element of surprise for him to go any further, and Simple closes it.
So let's talk about impact frags for a second there, because what Electronic did was, sure, he had 2 kills, and you think, oh, it's away from the action, but what he did was, there was 2 players from Renegades over towards that in bomb site. You had, towards the back of the middle train, Azza posted looking at high ramp, and JKS wasn't connected looking at low ramp. As soon as those kills happened, look, sure, if it was 1, if he went for that later lurk, they wouldn't have had to re-rotate. So he gets him out of position, he obviously finds some big kills. And a round that started in a little bit of a dicey manner. All too easy there for Navi, as they want to put a lot of players out team main here. Posturing with the AKs, they know they can take the duels against the lack of strong pistols. Ed will refine the first, and now they're just barreling out to the yard. I assume the rest will follow. Navi are looking great.
Good find, Flamey sneaking in. Has it though, JKS hanging on nade damage. Kill as well, Dink. On to Flamey, re-peek, takes him a while. They peeked from Z Connector while that was happening. He wouldn't quite been ready to fight, I don't think, in that situation, but Liaz is now the last alive and he's limited. He's held off by way of fire and flame. Simple, though.
Wants the AK.
Yeah, has given him a gun, potentially. He's still going to get around the corner and get to it. Bomb's not planted, it'll do so now. That should actually give Liaz the confidence to try and wrap it and grab the AK because he knows they're busy, and he doesn't really need to sit in the open right now. He can just go pick that up.
Very worried about these close corners. Will eventually get the AK. Now the question is, does he want to play for the future rounds, or does he want to try and be a clutch element?
Downed by Electronic.
Good crack at it, though, to be fair. He put a lot of Electronic low. If it came down to the 1v1 with Flamey, Flamey was on low HP, which means he either plays that very tentatively, or he swings wide when the bomb gets tapped, and then it's possible. Jacob here, 12 kills. He is the frag leader for the Renegades, 24 for Electronic, as Matt rightly so pointed out before. Only 6 deaths as well. Quite the performance from Electronic here. Scoreline 14-4. So sure, Renegades bounce back on Mirage, but Navi have bounced back equally as hard here on Train. Renegades need to get going right now, and that's a great opening. The flash will come out. Liaz will take down Electronic. And Simple boosted over the smoke here, trying to see if anybody is going to make their way into a cutout. Oh, they did! They offered it up! Liaz, after the opening kill, he's going to get taken down. So now it is a 4-on-4 situation.
There's no money built up for Renegades yet. It's only been 3 rounds.
They're going back towards inside for this hit anyway. Flamey's the only one staying over towards team main. JKS playing a retake style towards the inner bomb site. He's not close enough to spot for info, so this is going to have to be Renegades getting back into the round. They don't have a defuse kit, so if they give up the site early...
What are they doing? Simple wanting the bomb or telling him to get rid of it, Zeus?
Flamey's close for a kill here.
Yep, he's got it as a down. I thought maybe Azza might get him if he stepped wide, but the flames meant that Flamey wasn't actually going to go too far with that. Jacob's still underneath the pop dog. No one putting pressure onto him right now, and the fact that Flamey is behind, though, he's not far enough forward. Look at the work Flamey's doing. They're going to take this bomb B. Rotation's already gone through CT. This is a fantastic round. He's still lurking. Can still control Z Connector. Gratisfaction gets a shot onto him, but that's not good enough. Nade falls shy of the mark. Won't take him down, and he's bought so much time. This is over.
This
15. This is series point.
This is done. It doesn't even matter now for these two holding on to this. We saw the same situation over on Inferno. The fact was they'd given up so many rounds to just battle back into it. It's not possible. Navi are a class act. I don't want to be all doom and gloom. I don't want to make this seem like it is... Actually, yeah, I do want to make it seem like it is an impossibility, because if Renegades come back, in spite of what I'm saying right now, it's even more impressive.
Exactly. People always say that about Henry and I when we say this round's done. Well, anything can always happen. And if it does, it highlights how impressive and improbable it actually was.
I've got a new term for those people.
Cucks.
I was going to say the vocal moronity.
Ooh. Oh, I like that. Spicy.
They forget we get the last say.
That is true. Duncan always says that about players, and he's right. Like, oh, you want to wreck me on Twitter? Don't forget that I'm the one talking to the crowd last.
Telling the story. All right, well, speaking of last, this could be the last round of the game right here. We have been delivered some excellent Counter-Strike today, and we still have one best of 3 to go. But if Renegades want to fight back into this, if they want to make the Aussie fans still awake right now, because it's not that late down under, they need to start here. AWP in their hands of Gratisfaction as Simple wants to try and spam through the wall. Jacob only has that shotgun, everybody else with AUG. So Renegades, they have to post 11 on the trot here to take us to overtime. It is going to be a mammoth task. It's going to go massive. That's not big enough.
Flash gets thrown over toward lower. No one's pushing as of yet. 6 maps for Navi, back-to-back. And 4 and 2 is good enough.
It's just going to be an execute. All 5 players congregated towards the box halls right now for this of Navi. Here's the impending doom of the round is slowly trickling in now for Renegades.
That's frustrating for Gratisfaction. He just rotated over in that direction, and they went forward. He gets smoked off upper. He can't shut them down, but JKS can. He'll sneak back into the tanker. Good shot. Electronic. Good night, Zeus. Gratisfaction. Backs off, though, and didn't know Edward was that far up. With the Opera now down, shotgun, 2 Augs, 2 kits. Smoke and 2 flash.
Jacob has a shotgun. Retaking from connector becomes impossible. Liaz needs to get a kill so he can pick up an AK.
They need to speed it up. They do have the flank coming in. Liaz is gone. Jacob, he might be as well. 2 HP. Aza's going to be the one on the flank, and they're going to realize it. They're going to clear out everywhere else. It's a matter of a process of elimination, and they will eliminate Renegades. Simple with the final kill, just as the last map, and it's 16-4 in the end.
Well, Navi with 6 maps on the trot to kick off today. Quarterfinal, semi-final, and now grand final. They make that look easy on the 3rd. 27 kills for Electronic, 23 for Simple, 50 combined. Absolute monsters.
That's 57 kills for Electronic on Train today.
Mental.
And 27 this time beats the 30 because it was less rounds.
They are a scary force to deal with, and as you can hear, the crowd happy that one of the legends of old, one of the
I think we'll get our finals favorite. I mean, Fnatic is a legend of old too, so maybe they'll be on that side. That'll be an interesting one. They seem to stick to tradition. NRG, I don't think will have much behind them. They'll applaud their supporters, and rightfully so. Back to back, they made it work.
Yes.
No excuses. Impressive, I have to say, all the way through that they are able to do that. And we talked a number of times about it. The fact that they wanted to play back-to-back actually meant you stay kind of focused. There was a bit of a lull. I would have excused them if they had a slower start on Inferno, maybe missed 5 or 6 rounds just trying to get back into it. But it's better than, like we say, if it went 3 maps in a map series they aren't playing.
I think I
would be asleep by now.
I think it's clear as well for Renegades what their best map is. There's no argument that it's Mirage, right? Because they've taken down the biggest scalps in the world on that map, and they're able to do it against Navi, a team who also really enjoys Mirage, in a relatively easy scoreline, 16-8. So that could be their go-to in picks from now on, and we've seen really good signs for them to get through to the semi-final once again. It's good signs, both ENCE and Renegades, similar boat coming in. It's still consistent performances. They didn't make it to the grand final, they didn't make it to the semi-final. Well, Renegades did, ENCE didn't. But the point here is that they've shown positive form throughout. It hasn't been dropping off a cliff by any means, so they can keep their heads held high.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we're seeing more and more that they are going to be in the top 10, and they'll be